like I'm clearly no Mac Jones guy, but even watching, I'm like, I can't believe how stupid he is at times. It's crazy. Tony Romo's usually very defensive of any quarterback with whatever game he's calling. He's right. Like, what? You look at some of the decision making, which again was supposed to be a strength of Mac Jones, and it's like, was he ever smart to begin with, or has he completely lost his mind because they've broken him? But you watch something like that, and like what felt like slow motion, like what are you thinking? Take the sack, throw it out of bounds. You're no playmaker. You're no Patrick Mahomes. You can't roll out and try to, I'm going to make this play. That's not you, dude. You stink.
I thought the play was there.
Zoe was great.
No. Seriously. I mean, what a horrendous pass. Horrendous. I mean, he didn't even come close. He missed him by 3 feet.
It was definitely there.
He was open.
No.
Most quarterbacks in the league in this day and age can get out there and make that throw. It's almost become a requirement. I mean, it's just the way the game's played now. It's few and far between the guys that don't have that in their bag. Most guys have that in their bag now. And he doesn't. He's one of the few that doesn't. So Jones can run I think he's a little underrated as a scrambler. He can gain you 7 yards on 3rd and 4 if it's there by running forward. A little quicker than you would think. Running in a straight line forward. He cannot throw on the run. Like, he is not that.
Even Garoppolo can throw on the run. That ball yesterday when he was rolling to his left and threw it down the sideline.
It was a good third down play.
It was a nice ball.
Ted Johnson showed me this too. It's also, watch, if you have it, right before Mac Jones throws that pick, as he's rolling right, he quickly turns around. He quickly turns around and snaps his head back to see if he's about to get strip sacked because he's so verklempt about the thing in Dallas, and it's been drilled into him, don't turn the ball over, that as he's running out there, he quickly, does a quick twitch over his shoulder to see if anyone's there about to strip sack him. Which, whatever, I'll put this in air quotes, rhythm he might have had out there, completely destroyed. He just can't, he's not that guy. He's got to be in the pocket. He's got to time the read. He's just not a physical playmaker. This is obvious. And he may not be any kind of playmaker. So you go into the game, and a lot of people said, well, double secret probation, final warning. Those were Mike Reese's words last week. Final warning. That was in the first half. He makes a mistake like that. That's it. He's done for good. But the way that Bill handled the quarterback depth chart yesterday, that was impossible. In fact, Bill did the exact opposite of giving him a short leash. He gave him more leash because he made the backup quarterback, Malik Cunningham, who can't come close to running their normal offense. And I don't even think he really ran his offense all that great either. Was 4 snaps, was one handoff, 1 sack, and then he sprinted to the sidelines, and Ezekiel Elliott ran in for a touchdown. Mm-hmm. I think that was the extent of his work.
Yeah. I think you're right.
At quarterback, again, air quotes. So they only had a handful of plays for him anyway. So he wasn't a viable backup to Mac Jones. So there was nothing that was going to get Mac Jones out of that game other than someone taking his head off.
Right.
At which point, they would have to go to Bailey Zappi, and then no one else could play. And then if he got hurt, you'd have to put in, I don't know who the fourth guy is. Probably Chris Board. I don't know. I just made that up because Bill loves him so much. So, the way Bill handled that quarterback thing is he did the opposite of tightening the leash on Mac Jones. He gave him all the rope he needed. He was not going to take him out. He couldn't take him out.
I mean, maybe he was, again, when you mentioned Reese, I forgot that, exactly had.
Final warning.
Yeah, maybe Bill was effing with everybody. He made it sound like Jones was on his, and I'm just throwing crap against the wall. I'm not telling you that's what it was. But Mike, the short answer, they don't have anybody who can play.
Well, okay, but so now this, I keep going back to, I'm sorry I keep doing this, but didn't Bailey Zappi feel like he had something?
Yes.
And then they ruined him too.
Okay,
no, that's fair.
That's fair. Even if we overrated him or anyone who got into Zappi fever overrated him, fine. Okay, we overrated him. Let's say he actually sucks. He still went 2-0. He's still just a rookie going into his second year. How does he fall so far from that he's released before the season and then not even active for a game in which Mac Jones is teetering, is on the verge of toppling over on his start? That is such a bad story or so mismanaged, or I mean, even if it's not that, from probably week 2 of training camp, after Bill O'Brien got a whiff of the guy and clearly didn't believe in him, you knew Zappe wasn't the guy. Okay? And according to all the experts, you knew this last year. Okay? So who I'll just defer to all the football experts who obviously know more than we do, that Bailey Zappe sucked when he was going 2-0 last year.
I'll tell you when we're ready to talk about Bailey.
No, completely sucked, Greg. Completely sucked, Chris Gasper and Holly and all you guys. Completely sucked while he was going 2-0. Useless. Why then didn't they get a viable backup? Why didn't they in the offseason get a viable backup? Why didn't they the second week of training camp when Bill O'Brien figured out the kid was completely useless? Get a viable backup. First you go trade for, was it a trade or did they pick him up, this Matt Corral?
No, they picked him up off waivers.
Has anyone said, where's he?
He's gone.
Like to Mexico.
Well, I think he's out of the league. Yeah, I don't think
no one's picked him up.
Is he? So your first move,
Mexico. Yeah, he crosses hanging out on a beach somewhere drinking Coronas.
I mean, I don't mean to I don't mean to make fun of whatever problems he's having, but he clearly has some problems.
Right.
And it's like, so that's the guy. And then when did they sign Greer?
No, well, first
a few weeks ago.
First they signed Ian Book. Don't forget about Ian
right.
Book.
Ian Book was in the middle there.
But it's just, what are you doing? So the thing, yes, like it just bothers me again because it deprives us of some content. It would have been fun to see. I mean, if you're a functional team, the rookie last year who wins you a couple games as a backup, the rookie is just developed and he makes a little progress into year 2 and he's there in case your teetering starter falters and you see what you got. But Zappe fell so far. He sucks so bad. You don't even see what you got with him. Like, what's that? It's just, God, that pisses me off.
Well, and I'll tell you, too, I don't know that they can do it now.
What's the point now?
No, and not even that. What are you going to send him out there against Buffalo, Miami
Right,
now?
these are next 2 losses. It doesn't matter who's quarterback.
So, I almost feel like now you have to stick with Jones. Otherwise, you're throwing the next guy to the Wolves.
And I'm telling you, I guess the Saints, it wouldn't have mattered, but I don't know. Mac Jones threw a pick 6 the second series of the game, so maybe the quarterback would have mattered against the Saints. He was that bad. The quarterback would have mattered yesterday. Another interception that led to points. The quarterback would have mattered maybe against Dallas. I don't know. I mean, they're much better than you, but I think Dallas still sucks and is stupid, and you gave them 14 points on quarterback turnovers. So I don't know. There's so the Zappe thing was just totally, completely taken off the board. And so yesterday,
which raises another question, then why is he even here?
So
but anyway, go ahead.
No, but so then yesterday, that feels to me, so you go into a game where the second quarterback is just the gadget guy. And you have a third guy who's played in 1 games in the league. Yet the third guy, the guy who has played in 1 games in the league is, for all intents and purposes, unavailable. But the guy who is available is just a gadget guy who only has a handful of plays set aside for him. Are you trying to lose? Like, that's the kind of thing you do when you're tanking. That's how you tank.
Is there any chance the owner went to Bill and said, this is what I want?
That's what you do if you're tanking.
So this is what I thought. So Phil Perry, we talked to in the pregame yesterday, and he had reported that, there was, I forget the term he used, but it was like high-ranking officials believed in Malik Cunningham, so they wanted to see what they maybe had with him. So I thought, well, maybe that meant ownership. We want to see what we have with this kid. So Bill spitefully said, oh, okay, then we'll make him the backup then. And then Bailey Zappe will be the emergency quarterback. Because that situation, think about it. If Mac Jones gets hurt, your quarterback for the rest of the game is Malik Cunningham. That's it?
I have no idea where the spite comes in. But with Belichick, you can't rule it out.
Right.
That there's some sort of spite angle to how he's managing things. Because that's how he operates. Do I need to take off the microphone again? Like he's a spiteful manager. So spite is in there somewhere. So that's what you do when you tank. You say, yeah, there was an injury. What do you want? Well, we had to, there's only 45 active. There's the emergency thing. We couldn't play the emergency guy because then if you play the emergency guy, you can't use anyone else. And so that's just what it is. He got hurt. It was injury. That's what you do when you're tanking. You make Michael Bishop your quarterback. And it's what you do when you epically suck. The only team I've seen make that gadget guy work is New Orleans and Taysom Hill. And even then, it's kind of useless.
Right.
I don't know. Or was it Antoine Randall, who was in Pittsburgh?
Pittsburgh,
or Slash or what? I kind of like it.
At the beginning, it worked.
It almost never works. It's what you do when you suck. I mean, that was the Michael Bishop thing, who I like too. I was in favor of him playing too. But that's what you do when you blow. It's the gadget guy. But you don't make him the backup. And the guy that started and won games can't play, again, essentially, given the way the rules are. No, that's what you do when you're trying to lose or you're trying to manage. You can't tell your players not to try, but you can manage your roster in such a way that you really hurt yourself. Is that what they were doing yesterday?
We'll know more in the next couple of weeks.
Let's see who the backup is this week.